Greens are coming for you, Rhaenyra. And for your children.
The first thing I wanted to ask is, this is a prequel to one of the biggest TV shows ever. Is that something you're apprehensive about? Does it play on your mind when you're taking on the role?
Yes and no. In terms of apprehension as to where we are right now, is it something that you take into account when you take the role? No, not really. Because you can't play people's expectations. So what happened, certainly in my case, when I got the job, I was like, okay, great, that'd be fun, and I've just got to learn the lines and do all that stuff. Then, of course, your friends call, and you go, oh yeah, I'm doing this thing, it's the prequel to Game of Thrones, and they go, oh my God, that's huge! And so for a little while you think, but the job remains the same. You still have to look into each other's eyes, and you still have to be as convincing as you can be, and so forth.
The scale of the scale of the sets and the number of people involved was awe-inspiring.
Yes.
I mean, like nearly 4,000 crew and stuff. I mean, really amazing. And these gargantuan scaled sets that were so beautiful and had been worked so extraordinarily. But like you said, it's just our job is just you turn up and you have to say the lines and try and focus on what's going on between you.
Having made the show and seen it, what do you think differentiates it from Game of Thrones? Obviously it's set in the same world, but it's not the same show.
No, the last thing you want to do is keep making the same show, because those guys did that so well. Yeah. I think the thing about my take on Game of Thrones was, of course, that there were all these different factions warring for the throne. What we're doing in this one is, this is one family. We meet them at the height of their power. And if they're at the height, that means there's only one way, it's going down. So we're chronicling one family tearing itself apart. So necessarily it's a more intimate story. And lots of conspiracy and stuff like that. So I just think it's a slightly more intimate take.
It also may be, because, the Hightowers and and us obviously too, so it may be that it expands. If there's more seasons, it may be. What is exciting is that this is new and it's different, and it's a lot of the same ingredients, and it's inevitably a different sort of a cake, because we're all different. The time is very different. The context is very different. Like the world, our worlds now on Earth. Our society and what's going on with us is very different to when Game of Thrones is being made.
Yeah.
So, of course, the conversations are going to be slightly different, even though the context is going to be slightly different, even though the same elements of revenge, desire, power, psychotic behaviour are all the same.
Yeah, because I was saying before that the programs that you make, wherever they're set, they still reflect the world that you're in when you make them. Yeah. And so, of course, as Eva's just said, the world, for example, when the very first Game of Thrones season came out, was a pre-Me Too world.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, of course, we're in a post-Me Too world. And there will be differences in the way the stories are told and in the plots and the protagonists and so forth.
Men would sooner put the realm to the torch than see a woman ascend the Iron Throne.
What are the motivations of your characters? Because they're kind of adjacent to the power that's at the centre of the story, but they also have a kind of claim to the throne.
Oh, very much so. Some would say should have been on the throne.
Indeed.
I think a lot of it is about, at the moment, when we first meet, and then obviously things happen that then, my character anyway is very spurred by the events that, well, we both are, aren't we? I'm spurred by things that unfold. But at the beginning, I think the motivation is to keep an appearance of being okay with the status quo, to play the game, in Game of Thrones terms, very excellently well. Not to appear in any way to have any ruffled waters in any way, because underneath, obviously, there's all kinds of things going on, bubbling resentments and hurts and sadnesses and dreams for both of us, anyway, certainly for my character. And but she's a very good politician in that respect.
Corlys is less cool. He can explode sometimes, but I think the main motivation, I think, for this season is basically either trying to secure in forlorn hope that he could get his wife on the throne, which is, as far as he's concerned, the rightful place. She's the most qualified person. Viserys is a nice man, but in Corlys' opinion, not a good king. Or if not, basically getting the family as close to power as possible. And part of that is about cementing the legacy of the family. He's all about the Velaryon name going down in history in its rightful place. So I think that's for an awful lot of the season, that is what he's trying to do. I mean, he may kid himself and say he's doing it for the family, but of course a lot of it's about him too. Because I think, either I'm imagining it, or we have a scene where I'm sort of going, yeah, we've got to have this, and Rhaenys is going, you know what, we're fine, actually. Yeah. We're good. We're rich. We're good.
I think it's not
that does happen, right?
5.
Okay, it does happen. Yeah. So that kind of is the...
Hasn't read the script.
that kind of is the part of the dynamic of their relationship, is this thing of him going, yeah, it should be you, whatever, and her going, just relax, we're doing good. Until
we're not.
Until we're not.
Our houses are bound by a common cause.